Hi, my name is Mac, and when I was in high school, my friend didn't show up to school, so I said I was gonna get her, and then 2 periods later there was an announcement that she died in a car accident. And I brought the bull.
Hi, my name is Katie, and whenever I was younger, I was fat, and my close relative told me that if I don't start losing weight, then I'll never be loved or get married. And I brought Sour Patch Kids.
Hi, my name is Mac, and when I was in dance class, my dance teacher told me in front of the whole class that my thighs were getting bigger and it looked like I was having a hard time getting off the floor. And I brought the peanut M&Ms.
Hi, my name is Katie, and whenever I was younger, we used to have to put heavy objects against the door because of the threats that we would get from a close relative. And I brought the junior mints.
Hi, my name is Mac, and one time my mom and my siblings were banging on my window because my mom's ex-boyfriend locked everyone out of the house but me, and so I went to unlock the window and he grabbed me by the legs and threw me across the room and it sliced my leg open and then proceeded to pee in my bed, and I brought the M&Ms.
Hi, my name is Katie, and I have an album in my phone called Family Abuse so that I could have evidence to use in court later on. And I brought the Reese's.
Hi, my name is Mac, and we took my mother's ex-boyfriend to court, and the court didn't believe me at 7 years old. I brought the Mike and Ikes.
Hi, my name is Katie, and I was never allowed to have friends over my house when I was younger because there were so many holes in our walls that we couldn't explain it. And I brought some more Sour Patch Kids.
Hi, my name is Mac, and one time my neighbor came in my house and pulled a gun on me and cocked it, so I turned and ran and fell on the rug and slipped on the knife, and he is still my neighbor, and I brought the junior mints.
Hi, my name is Katie, and at my first sleepover, my friend's dad would come in at night and pray over us, and he would make us close our eyes, and as he was praying, he would move his hand up my thigh. And I brought Reese's.
Hi, my name is Mac, and whenever I told my very, very close relative that I no longer claim as mine, that I was raped, he said he felt bad for my rapist because he knows what it's like to be accused of that. And that's how I found out he was in court for the exact same thing. And I brought the peanut M&Ms.
Hi, my name is Katie, and at my first week of Christian college, the Bible study leader took me out to dinner, and instead of taking me out to dinner, he drove me out to the middle of nowhere and wouldn't take me back until I did things with him. Later, the girls reported me on my hall, and I got in trouble. And I have an nose.
Trauma bonded!
Hi, my name's Holly, and when I was 15 I thought my best friend was twerking, but she was actually having a seizure, and I bought camera nibbles.
Hi, my name's Danielle, and I am the friend that had the seizure, and I have brought Skittles.
Hi, my name's Holly, and in year 7 my period pad fell out in front of the whole school, and they were all laughing at me, and I decided to pick it up and just kept it in my hand, and I bought jelly babies.
My name's Danielle, and when I was 14, an 18-year-old man told me that I was the reason he was in hospital because I didn't want to be in a relationship with him, and I brought Crunchy Rocks.
Hi, my name's Holly, and I hadn't seen my dad in 12 years, and in June I went up to see him. I travelled 9 hours and he didn't speak to me, and I bought dairy milk buttons.
My name's Danielle, and when I was younger, my mum grounded me. I went up to her room and I stuck battleships up my nose. And I had to go to hospital to have them sucked out. And I brought Haribo Star Mix.
Oh. My name's Holly, and I had a neighbour, and he come and knocked for us to come play with him. And at the time we was round the corner, and there was like a little brick wall, and he took his trousers down and took a poo in front of us. And I bought Smize.
My name's Danielle, and when I was younger, my best friend told me to dress up for a Halloween party. I arrived at the door and she had cancelled the costumes for everyone else. Nobody else dressed up. I turned up with a full face of face paint in a vampire outfit, and everybody laughed at me.
I forgot about that.
And I brought drumstick squashies.
Hi, my name's Holly, and my dad came down when I was about 10 years old and took us to Swanbourne Lake, which is like a nature park. And he took us behind barbed wire, and we was on a cliff, and I started running, doing like 10 roly-polies, and I nearly plummeted. And I bought squishies drumsticks.
My name's Danielle, and on my 21st birthday I was so hungover I went yellow and I could not move and barely breathe. My mum wanted to send me to hospital, but my dad is an alcoholic and he said I'd be fine after a good sleep. Here I am. And I brought fruit pastels.
Hi, my name's Holly, and when I was younger, my mum told me to clean the bath out, and I forgot, and then I said I did, and then she came in and showed me fake tan all over the bath and then I started laughing at her, and she said, if you laugh at me again, I will slap you. I laughed at her again, and she slapped me so hard that I fell into the bath, and I got home by 6.
My name's Danielle, and when I was... Nope. My name's Danielle, and when I was younger, I was pushing my brother in a wheelbarrow thing, and he ended up getting hit by a car. I brought crunchy rocks.
Hi, my name's Holly, and we had a friend sleepover, and my foundation went missing, and I accused her of stealing it, and a few months later we found it under the computer table, and I bought fizzy fangs.
My name's Danielle, and when I was 16, I went on a date with an older guy, and my mum made him send over his DBS check. And I've got Aero peppermint bubbles, and he did send it over.
Hi, my name's Holly, and me and my best friend, we went swimming, and a lifeguard chatted me up, added me on Facebook, and then a few days later, the police came to my house and told me that he was a file. And I bought Aero bubbles again.
Hi, my name's Sydney. One time I didn't want to talk to this boy anymore, so he made up that he had a rare disease where he would die at 20. He's still alive, and I brought the Skittles.
One time I was dating this guy. He told me I was generic, like a Hallmark card, and I stayed. Oh, Sour Patch Bites.
My name's Sydney. One time I made a bad throw in softball during warm-ups, and it hit my coach in the kidney, and he was hospitalized. And luckily, he's still alive. He passed out after he was hit with it. And I brought the Lifesaver Berry Gummies. Love that guy.
One time when I was in kindergarten.
She's Hannah.
One time when I was in kindergarten, a Lifesaver got stuck in my throat, and my kindergarten teacher had to give me the Heimlich. Thank you, Miss L. Curry. Starburst jelly beans.
I'm Sydney. One time in high school, I told this girl she could add a boy on my Snapchat because I didn't like him, but instead she went and added every guy I had a streak with and then sent the one I actually liked her nudes. And I brought the sour gummy bears.
When I was in preschool, my teacher told me ghost stories, and when I got home, my parents grounded me to my room, and I was so scared. Candy shop cherry sours. Hannah.
I'm Sydney, and I turned my phone in every single night at 9 o'clock in high school until my senior year. And I brought the pink Starburst gummies.
Jeez,
Hannah.
already eating? When I was little, my dad's dog Diablo died.
What? Put the candy. I know the reference.
Yes.
My name's Sydney, and I feel like if I don't pray for my parents at night, something horrible will happen to them. And I brought the Sour Patch Kids watermelon.
My name is Hannah, and I went to the gym with my boyfriend one time, my old boyfriend, and he made me put 2 big 45 plates on each side because he knew I wouldn't be able to get it up, and I had it down, and I was like, help, help, and he was like, ha, ha, ha. Black Forest gummy bears.
My name's Sydney, and I normally average about 7 cavities every time I go to the dentist, and I brought the Lifesaver Gummies sour.
My name is Hannah, and I went on this date one time, and when he was saying bye, he went in for a kiss. I said okay, and we both went this way, and we hit noses, and then I said, oh. Fruit juice, mini bites.
My name is Sarah, and I was hit by a drunk driver and became paralyzed and lost both my legs, and I brought Swedish Fish minis. I'm Brecken, and I was arrested for drunk driving, and I brought Twizzlers.
Hi, my name is Scarlett, and when I was in high school, I jumped out of a moving car to get away from a scary guy, and I ran 2 miles home, covered in blood and all dirty, and I banged on my mom's door to tell her what happened, and she said, "What did you do?" and went back to bed. And I brought the bowl.
And I'm Maggie.
Hi, my name is Scarlett, and my ex-boyfriend shit in my shower. And I brought the strawberry soft licorice twists.
And I'm Maggie.
Hi, my name is Scarlett, and my dad moved out of the country without telling anyone, and when I asked for his new address, he said, "Why?" And I brought the milk chocolate covered gummy bears.
And I'm Maggie.
Hi, my name is Scarlett, and I was beat up as a kid, but my little brother wasn't. And I brought the Scandinavian swimmers.
And I'm Maggie.
Hi, I'm Scarlett, and I had an ex-boyfriend stalk me, and everyone knew that he was stalking me, so I couldn't live in my apartment, but my mom sent him a message saying, I'm rooting for you, and sent him the address of where I was staying. And I brought the English creamy toffees.
Hi, I'm Haley, and when I was 17, my high school principal asked if I would be the weather girl for the morning announcements because I wanted to be a meteorologist. So I said yes, and then the day after, all the cool girls from my school made a Facebook group about me and how weird and ugly I am, and then more than half of the school joined it. And I brought the bowl.
Hey, so my name is Devon, and one time my stepdad came with lipstick on his neck, so my mom found out he was cheating, so she went to the kitchen, grabbed the biggest knife, and started stabbing him. And so he ran out of the house, and there was a trail of blood. And I brought the jelly beans.
Hi, I'm Haley, and when I was 19, I was dating this guy, and he was always really weird about his phone. So when he was in the shower, I grabbed his phone to see what was going on, and I found an entire album of photos of me sleeping in really weird positions, and I later found out that he was selling them for money on the dark web. And I brought the Sour Patch Kids.
Hi, so my name is Devon, and my dad abandoned me when I was 3 years old, and I always wanted to meet him, so I tracked him on the internet, and I finally found him after years when I was 19 years old. So I moved to Miami with him, and after a month, I found him in a bloody mess, unalive, because he vomited his blood everywhere because he was in his last stage of cirrhosis. And I found his body, and I brought the Jolly Ranchers.
Hi, I'm Haley, and when I was 29, I moved to New York City, and then my dog was being driven to New York City by a luxury car transport, but on the last day, when she was 5 hours from New York City, she passed away of a heart attack in the car, and then when I got to the vet, I saw her unalived body for the first time in the back of the car, and I brought her into the vet. I carried her in with my hands wrapped in her favorite blanket, and then when I got there, they told me that they don't do autopsies, even though I had called prior and they said that they did do autopsies, and so I had to carry her body out into the streets of New York, and I didn't know what to do. And I brought the M&Ms.
Okay, so my name is Devon, and I grew up with a very abusive mother, and one time she just kept punching me, and I fell on the ground, and then she grabbed the cat litter that was filled with poop and piss, and then dumped it on my face, and I just remembered the dust rising up, and I felt really sad. But I brought the trolleys.
Hi, I'm Zoe, and when I was in the psych ward, my best friend refused to visit me, and I got really mad, so me and my new grippy sock gang decided to get revenge. So we made a master plan to sneak in tarot cards and make a Ouija board, and I was manifesting the downfall of this girl, and long story short, my tarot reading said that she would get her karma and get what was coming to her, and I was so happy. I was literally jumping for joy. I brought the Skittles.
I'm Tahila. I bought the fizzy worms, and I was Zoe's friend who couldn't visit her in the psych ward, and now I have cancer.
My candy salad, and we both brought the bowl, so yeah. Okay. First, Swedish fish. What's your trauma? Okay, one time in 6th grade, during cross-country season, we have, obviously after school you have to like change into your clothes, and while I was changing, for some reason like underwear fell out of my bag onto the bathroom floor, and then I didn't know about it, and then a bunch of girls, high school girls, came like running out of the bathroom holding them up in the air in front of like every cross-country person, and everybody saw them, and they're just like, who are these? And it was so embarrassing. Did you say mine? No. I didn't. Well, I was literally just like, who's are them? Yeah, like, what? Who's in that? Okay, I brought Warhead Cube thingies, and when I was in Alabama for vacation last year, actually, I flew off my skimboard, and this kid comes up to me asking for my Snap, and I was soaking wet, and I don't have Snapchat, and I go, I don't have Snap. He goes, can I have your number? So I typed in the number, and it was wrong, and I just ran away because I was scared, so he got the wrong number. That's me again. Okay, when I was like 6 years old, I went to a hotel with my grandma. I don't even know what it was for, but like, so I was looking outside of the hotel window. Mind you, I was 6. I don't know why I was doing that, but I was. And a guy comes walking past. And he, like, is going, like, I don't know what he's talking about. Like, what do you mean? And nobody's paying attention to me. And then he just, like, keeps on doing it. I'm just like, and I look down. His pants are down. I'm not even joking. And he starts jerking it off in front of me. 6 years old. I was traumatized. I want one of these. Also, my grandma, after that happened, like, she saw me over there, like, freaking out. And then she called the cops. And they literally found him at Dollar General, drunk as heck, stripping in front of everybody.
That's crazy. Mine are not nearly as bad as this, promise.
Okay guys, it's me again, and I brought watermelon Sour Patch Kids, but they're like the best, obviously. Anyways, so my first ever period, I was with my dad. My parents aren't together anymore, and Bro takes me to Dollar General, out of all places, to buy some stuff. So I was like, okay, just grab whatever. I grabbed it. This kid from school is our cashier.
It's, like, very local, so everybody knows everybody.
I walked out of the Dollar General, and then my dad comes to the car with the stuff and goes, when you walked out, that kid said, what was her problem? Yeah, so what were those for? Him? No, they're for me, so that kid knows, and he probably told the whole school. Anyways, I'm trying to cut my hair off.
Hey, last one. This is also a one when I was little. Me and my sister went into the Walmart bathroom. Our parents, I think my grandma was with us too. She went, they were, like, shopping around in Walmart, and I had to go to the bathroom. So my sister was, like, 12 at the time. I don't know what I'm doing. Went in there with me, and we both went into the stall with each other because we're both little. And a girl walks in. I'm pretty sure it was, like, an old lady or something. And she's like, Haven and Kaylee, like, come here real quick. Mind you, we don't know who this person is, how we know their name, but I didn't know that. So I was about to say, like, yeah, or something like that, and, like, walk out. And my sister stops me, puts my hand over my mouth, and I'm just like, because I thought it was, like, my mom or something, but it wasn't. So I'm pretty sure she was trying to kidnap us.
I would have too.
Yeah.
Hey, I brought sweet tart ropes, and mind you, this happened, like, this school year, like a week or so ago. Okay, so all my teachers have beef with me for some reason. No idea why, but in my math class, obviously nobody likes math. In my math class, I just sit there and mind my own business, and I was sitting there, and someone asked me for help on IXL. IXL is actually the most stupidest thing I've ever heard of in my whole life. And what am I getting at? Sorry, I had to merge for a second, and I forgot what I was saying. So I was sitting there, and this girl asked me for help on the IXL. I said, I don't even know for real, I'm just sitting here, because nobody likes math anyways. If you like math, get out again. And he goes, if you don't know how to do it, ask for help. And literally full out yells at me, and everyone goes silent. I literally almost jumped out of my chair and crapped my pants. And he just, like, crashing out. So then I go home and I start complaining about him because, like, why you got beef with me? And then I literally finished the IXL too. And then told my dad, and my brother overheard me. My brother does baseball. He's in high school. And
the math teacher is also a coach.
Yeah, math teacher's the coach. So my brother goes and he goes, oh yeah, Alyssa doesn't like you. She says she complains about you all the time. She says you're mean. Also, mind you, this teacher really does hate me because the phone law or whatever, you can't have phones in class.
Stupid.
The stupidest thing ever. If I don't get my work done, it's my fault. Like, get out. And so I had my phone on me and I forgot to silence it, and my brother left school, and Life 360 notification goes off in the middle of class.
Those are loud.
Yeah, I thought bro was about to scream at me, but literally most random, he goes, whose phone was that? Mind you, this notification goes off, I'm about half asleep, I jump out of my chair, crapping my pants, not even lying. And he goes, whose phone was that? Alyssa. And looks at me, I'm just like, I don't even know for real. And he was like, I'll give you two options. Either take it to the office. I was like, okay, yep, I'm cooked, because I've already had to take it to the office, and our school does a stupid rule. If, like, second time your parents have to come pick your phone up, like, Okay, I'm gonna be cooked at home at this point. And he goes, or you could take it to your locker. And I was like, what?
Because last year he was so strict about it.
Like, he would literally scream at kids. I'm pretty sure one kid actually cried because he started screaming at him, telling him to take it to the office.
And last year we didn't even have the phone rule.
Yeah, it was just
and he was
stupid school rule. And then I was like, okay. And then next day, all that happens with my brother telling him. So yeah. Anyways, that's our traumas. Have a lot more, but a lot more. Bye.
Hi, my name's Bella, and I brought the bowl. And one time while I was working at a daycare, my co-teacher had a seizure and dropped a 4-month baby on his head in front of me.
Hi, I'm Ella, and when I was little, my brothers were babysitting me and they duct taped me to a tree for 4 hours. And I brought the unicorns.
Hi, I'm Bella, and once in high school I snuck into another high school and got patted down by the police officers, and now they have a restraining order on me. And I brought the twin snakes.
Hi, my name's Ella, and when I was 6, I was at my brother's baseball tournament, and me and one of the other sisters played in the woods for like 3 hours, and my mom called an Amber Alert on me and had to search everybody's car. And I brought Starburst.
Hi, I'm Bella, and one time my parents grounded me and tried to smash my phone in the garage with a hammer and missed my phone and hit my toe instead. And I brought the Skittles.
Hi, I'm Ella, and about 2 months ago, my ex-boyfriend stayed over at my house for the first time in months, and I heard my dog fall down the stairs and he was dead at the bottom, and I was the one that found him. And I bought trolleys.
Hi, I'm Bella, and one time I was hanging out with my situationship and all of his friends, and we were playing hide and go seek, and he found me under the bed with his friend and started slamming his hands on the mattress and screaming at me, and then texted my mom saying, "With wisdom, I never want to see your daughter again." And I brought airhead bites.
Hi, my name's Ella, and I got a Stanley water bottle thrown at my head. I brought Sour Patch Kids.
Hi, I'm Bella, and one time my parents told me that they were bringing me out to breakfast and actually brought me to a therapist. And I have Swedish fish.
Hi, my name's Ella, and when I was in 8th grade, 2 of the girls in my friend group had a birthday as the same week as me, so we all planned a birthday party together, and then they never texted me about it and had it without me, and I sat alone on my own birthday. And I brought butterflies.
Hi, I'm Bella, and one time in 6th grade I refused to go to school, so my parents brought me to school, and they called my gym teacher, and she came out and dragged me into class by my hair. And I brought sour spaghetti.
Hi, my name's Ella, and me and all of my friends were on vacation, and me and one of the girls got into a physical fight on the beach, and I have to live with her next year. And I brought Mike and Ike's.
Hi, I'm Bella, and one time I was driving with my grandma and I sprayed perfume, and she pulled over on the side of the highway and made me get out and took a lap on the highway for it to air out and left me on the side of the highway. And I have Sour Patch Kids watermelon.
Hi, my name is Ella, and the guy that I was talking to hooked up with a girl with the same name, and I didn't know until the next day when her boyfriend called me. And I brought lemon heads.
Hi, I'm Bella, and on my birthday 12 years ago, I made my mom bring me and my friends to a hotel, and on the way back we got in a car accident, and now my mom is paralyzed for the rest of her life. And I brought gummy bears.
My name is Liv. I'm gonna pour in the arrowheads, and when I was 6, my cousin would touch me. Hi, my name is Isla, and one time my cousin tried to kill his whole family, so we sent him to Utah, and now we don't talk to him anymore.
My candy.
No, name.
Oh, Kingston. Rebo Twin Snakes is my candy, and I got Joan in the school bathroom.
My name's Aaron, and one time my sister had a friend, and me and him were best friends, and got busted for child porn.
Nice. My name's Liv. I'm gonna pour in the sweet tar ropes, and my dad used to cut my hair 2 inches every time I got in trouble. Okay.
Hi, my name is Tyla, and when I was a teenager, I had severe depression, and when I told my mom, she told me that Black people don't get depressed, and I brought the Skittles.
Hi, my name's Sydney, and I financially supported my ex-boyfriend who I thought had cancer. Turns out he didn't have cancer, and he stole a bunch of money from me. And I brought these Sour Patch Kids watermelons.
Hi, my name is Tyla, and when I first started talking to my first boyfriend in high school, I would hang out with one of my friends and she would help me text him. Once we broke up, she started dating him and now they're married. And I brought the Sour Patch Kids. I'm really happy for them though.
Hi, my name's Sydney, and I made a GoFundMe for my boyfriend who I thought had cancer, raised about $6,000. All of my friends and family donated to it. Turns out he was lying about the cancer, I found out after we broke up, and I don't know where the money went. I think he used it to pay off his court fees because he was a felon. And I brought the mini Starburst.
I donated to that GoFundMe. Hi, my name is Tyla, and a guy that I call my ex but never actually dated just because he's been around for 10 years recently messaged me that he thinks about me all the time with explicit details, and when I checked his profile I found out that his girlfriend was 38 weeks pregnant. And I brought the nerds.
Hi, my name's Sydney, and a friend of mine unalived herself on my couch, and I brought the sleep-tight ropes.
Hi, my name is Tyla, and when my parents got divorced, my dad had another kid, and about 4 years ago, that kid messaged me on Instagram. He's about 14 years old now, and told me he thinks I'm his sister, and I met him for the first time 3 weeks ago, and I brought the Airheads Extreme.
Hi, my name's Sydney, and my first real experience with death was a manager at my job that I was clothed with, randomly from a head injury, and the manager that they sent to replace him had the same name as him, and they sent him like the day after. And I brought the the Smurfs.
Hi, my name is Tyla, and in high school a girl accused me of hooking up with her boyfriend when we were actually just best friends and hung out all the time, and she yelled at me for 10 minutes straight in front of our entire theater class, and we never spoke again until our friend's funeral recently, where we just hugged each other and cried because our friend died. And I brought the cotton candy sour straws.
Hi, my name's Sydney, and I did ballet growing up, and when I got my first period, I didn't know how tampons work, so I thought that you just stuck the whole thing up there, like plastic applicator and everything. So in dance class, I would just be really uncomfortable and it would leak. And then I found out like a few months later that you're actually supposed to use the applicator to insert it. And I brought the Sweet Tarts Mini Chewy.
Hi, my name's Abby, and my dad has this thing where he always has to be right. So one day we were playing spotter and no one saw the car other than him, so he drove onto oncoming traffic to prove that he was right.
My name is Chelsea and I watched my brother die.
My name's April. I went to Malta and hooked up with a guy, and then I found out he was my cousin. Fourth cousin. Fourth. Put that part in.
My name's Zoe. My ex-boyfriend's mum wanted to get a restraining order against me because I was not the same religion as them.
My name's Nikita, and 5 years ago my family had a home invasion and we fought them off with knives.
Hi, I'm Lita, and one time I was approached at Melbourne Central and accidentally joined a cult and didn't realise.
Hi, my name's Prue, and one time the police called me to come and pick up my dad, and when I picked him up he said that he was kidnapped, but he was really just arrested for drunk and disorderly.
My name is Jen, and I was essayed as a child. Builds character.
Hi, my name's Abby, and one time I didn't wish my dad a happy birthday and then he went missing for 2 weeks and he called my mum saying he was going to unalive himself. And then there was another time we had a share accommodation house and he went there and also said he was going to unalive himself 3 years earlier.
And that was the same time that he was on the phone to my mum saying, I'm on the chair, I'm going to do it now. So yeah, like sister trauma.
Hi, my name's Dan and I was a bullied gay teen. Shit.
Hi, I'm Abby, and my trauma is my sister is Zoe DeFilippo.
Hi, my name is Charlize. My ex-boyfriend cheated on me, blamed it on the alcohol, and I believed him. And I brought the snakes.
Hi, I'm Brie. I brought fruit salad. My ex of 4 years called me ugly.
While you were dating, which is crazy.
And I kept dating him.
Oh, I've got one. Hi, my name is Charlize, and my first boyfriend ever cried when I beat him in a game of laser tag.
Hi, I'm Brie, and one of my exes complained when I didn't use enough emojis.
You're fucking lying.
Not emotive enough. Hi, I'm Brie, I brought 10 Fastics, and I lived with a boy for 2 months, and then he broke up with me.
My name is Charlize. I brought the Sherbet Fizz Crunch, and I worked at McDonald's for 3 years.
Hi, I'm Brie, I brought Sourmates. I told my mom when I was in high school that I was going to bed, and I snuck out and crashed my car.
Hi, my name is Charlize. I'm bringing the Juicy Bursts, and my ex-boyfriend told me that he really liked blondes and that I would look a lot better blonde, so I went blonde and I stayed blonde for 4 years.
Mine did the same.
Really?
I went up to go dark, and then I went dark, and I started blue.
No way!
Hi, my name is Ashley, and the very first time I told a boy I had a crush on him, he told me that he couldn't date me because I was black and I bought the balls.
Hi, my name is Isa, and when I was 18, my boyfriend's mom sent me a picture of a massive bra and told me, "Is this yours?" And I told her no, and then she told me that it was one of my boyfriend's girlfriends, only to find out it was her bra and she was trying to break us up. And I bought these Nerf clumpy thingies.
Hi, my name is Ashley, and one time my ex-best friend hid her pregnancy from me and then proceeded to ghost me for 8 months after I found out. And then when she had her baby daddy left her, and then she hit me up and I bought the Sour Punch Hearts.
Hi, my name is Isa, and I grew up in Monterrey, Mexico during the war against the cartels. And when I would go to school, my mom would tell me to close my eyes in case there was something hanging from the bridges. And I brought the sour strips.
Hi, my name is Ashley, and one time I went back home to Texas and I proceeded to hook up with a boy, and he came over to my house, and when he sat down on my couch, he took his keys out of his pocket, and then he proceeded to take a gun out of his pocket and put it onto my ottoman, and I bought the gummy Sour Hearts.
Hi, my name is Isa, and when I was 15, my favorite teacher added me on Facebook and started messaging me every night around 2 a.m., asking me to insult him and reject him. And then years later, I found out he was in a predator list and he was a pay oink oink. And I brought the gummy bears.
Hi, my name is Ashley, and when I went to high school in Texas, we had a day in history class called Slavery Day where we would learn about slavery, and I was the only black person in the class, and I brought sour strips.
Hi, my name is Isa, and when I was 15, I went camping with a religious Girl Scout group, and in the middle of the night, they sounded the alarms and told us the cartel was there for us, so we ran through the forest, hid in a wooden chapel, cried and prayed for our lives while we heard gunshots and screaming outside, and then the door opened and we heard, "It's me, God." It was an exercise for gratitude.
What the fuck?
And I bought the sour straws.